Is he musical?
Are you kidding me? Third day of school, he says, Mama, I want to take a cello. I said, baby, you don't have a cello. He says, turn my violin into a cello, please, Mama.
Janet Jackson is famous for being Michael Jackson's sister, sure, but she is a legend of her own. With hit albums and iconic performances, she is truly a superstar. And now the next Jackson to shine might just be her son, Eissa Al Mana. But that's not the only exciting thing. We just heard about Janet's love story with a Muslim billionaire, and it is as shocking as it can get.
Why did you not want people to know you were married?
We just kept it private. It was just a very private thing. We never told anyone.
So how did they meet? And is Eissa really the next big pop star this world is going to have? The secret relationship. Janet Jackson, the pop and R&B icon, has lived a life that has been nothing short of fascinating, both on and off the stage. While we all know her for her incredible music and powerful performances, there is another side to her life that is just as intriguing. It is her secret love story with Qatari billionaire Wissam Al Mana. So let's take a moment to appreciate Janet's journey. Born on May 16, 1966, she grew up as the youngest of the famous Jackson family. Sure, she was Michael Jackson's baby sister, but Janet carved out her own path. She became a legend in her own right. She had some TV appearances as a child on shows like Good Times and Fame, and then she dropped her third album, Control, in 1986. What we are trying to say here is that she was as hardworking in this field as her brother, the king of pop. So, Janet's third album was the one that turned her into a global superstar. When people listened to this album, they connected to the themes like independence and self-empowerment. These are the topics she has championed throughout her career. But enough about the music for now. Let's talk about Janet's love life, because let's be real, it is just as dramatic and headline-worthy as her career. Janet's first marriage was to James DeBarge in 1984. It was a whirlwind romance that lasted about as long as a pop song. Yes, just 1 year. Next came her secretive marriage to dancer and director Renee Elizondo Jr. in 1991. For nearly a decade, they managed to keep their relationship mostly out of the spotlight, but their split in 2000 was a messy public affair involving court battles over finances. Janet never gave up on love. After Renee Elizondo Jr., she had a high-profile relationship with hip-hop producer Jermaine Dupri from 2002 to 2009. These two seemed like a perfect match as Jermaine fully supported her career. But like many Hollywood love stories, their busy lifestyles eventually drove them apart. Still, they ended things on good terms, which is rare and kind of refreshing. And then in walked Wissam Al Mana, a man from a completely different world. Janet and Wissam met around 2010, and it didn't take long for them to fall for each other. Wissam is not just any billionaire, he is one of Qatar's most influential businessmen with a resume that is just as impressive as Janet's discography. By 2012, the two had secretly tied the knot, keeping their marriage safe from the public eye. That's right, Janet didn't just find love, she found a partner who shared her love for privacy and quiet elegance. Now, who is Wissam Al Mana? He is not the type to flaunt his wealth or make headlines for his personal life. Instead, all Wissam cares about is business. He is the executive director of the Al Mana Group, which is a massive family-owned conglomerate with its hands in everything from luxury brands to media and real estate. This includes high-end fashion houses, advanced property developments, and even regional entertainment ventures. Basically, if it is fancy or forward-thinking, the Al Mana Group is probably involved. Under Wissam's leadership, the company gained global recognition. It has contributed significantly to the Middle East economy and beyond. Wissam is a visionary, always looking to expand and adapt to the ever-changing market. His work has helped position Qatar as a rising economic force on the world stage. It is quite impressive. So how did Janet and Wissam's worlds collide? Well, it is a classic story of opposites attracting. She was a global pop star with a high-energy life in the spotlight, while he was a reserved businessman. Yet somehow their differences clicked. Wissam's calm demeanor and business mind seemed to complement Janet's creative spirit and strong personality perfectly. Their relationship became stronger, and they decided to build a life together. In 2017, Janet gave birth to their son, Eissa Al Mana, at the age of 50. But as beautiful as their story was, it was not without challenges. Shortly after Eissa was born, Janet and Wissam separated. They said that it was due to cultural differences. Despite the split, they have remained focused on co-parenting their son, keeping their personal lives private while ensuring Eissa gets the best of both worlds. Wissam's upbringing and values likely played a role in their connection. Born into a prominent Qatari family, he was raised with a strong sense of tradition and responsibility. He took over the family business with a clear vision. He knew he had to expand it into new territories and industries. His leadership has been nothing short of transformative. He was able to push boundaries and set new standards in luxury, media, and real estate. Now the big question is what kept Janet and Wissam bonded and what eventually pulled them apart. How Janet met Wissam. That's where things get even more intriguing. Let's rewind to where it all began. A glamorous 5-star hotel launch in Dubai in 2010. There were business tycoons, celebrities, and socialites all gathered under one glittering roof. In this world of luxury and exclusivity, Janet Jackson, the pop legend, crossed paths with Wissam Al Mana, the reserved yet powerful Qatari billionaire. Two completely different worlds collided and something just clicked. From their first meeting, there was an undeniable connection. But the interesting thing is that Janet and Wissam didn't exactly shout about their relationship from the rooftops. They kept it private. You would think it would be impossible for someone as famous as Janet to hide a relationship, but she pulled it off. For years, they stayed out of the public eye, rarely appearing together and never confirming their romance to the media. It was definitely a smart move. The world didn't even know they were dating, let alone planning their future together. By 2012, they took the next step, marriage. But don't expect tales of a lavish, over-the-top celebrity wedding. No. This was a quiet, intimate affair. There were no flashy headlines, no paparazzi frenzy. It was so secretive that the world only found out about their union much later. That level of privacy tells us about their mutual respect and understanding. They were not just protecting their relationship, they were building a life together, away from the chaos of public scrutiny. Behind closed doors, Janet and Wissam seemed to have it all figured out. They respected each other's boundaries and worked through their differences without the media breathing down their necks. For a while, it seemed like the perfect match. Her fierce independence balanced his calm, grounded nature. But as we know, no relationship is without its challenges. In January 2070, the couple welcomed their son, Eissa Al Mana. It was a joyous occasion, marking a new chapter in their lives. But as much as Eissa's arrival brought happiness, it also showed the cracks in their relationship. Just months after his birth, Janet and Wissam announced their separation, ending a 5-year marriage that had seemed so strong. So what went wrong? According to those close to the couple, cultural differences played a big role. Let's not forget their backgrounds could not have been more different. Janet was a fiercely independent artist who had always championed self-expression and found herself in a marriage where certain freedoms clashed with cultural expectations. Wissam, on the other hand, came from a more traditional upbringing, which sometimes made it hard for them to find common ground. There were also rumors of control issues. Insiders claimed that Wissam's expectations and lifestyle began to feel restrictive for Janet, who valued her autonomy both personally and professionally. It is no secret that Janet has always been an advocate for independence, and it seems that her marriage began to challenge that in ways she couldn't ignore. Her older brother Randy Jackson even spoke out publicly. He revealed that Janet had confided in him about emotional struggles during her marriage. He alleged that she had experienced verbal harassment, which added to the strain. However, Wissam denied these claims, maintaining that their separation was due to personal differences rather than abuse. Neither Janet nor Wissam has publicly addressed these allegations in detail. They choose to handle their issues privately instead for the sake of their son. And that's where the focus shifted, to Eissa. Both parents have made it clear that their top priority is their child's well-being. Despite their differences, they have committed to co-parenting in a way that protects Eissa from the drama. It is a delicate balance, but one they seem determined to maintain. So what's life like for little Eissa, the child of a pop legend and a billionaire? Eissa's unique childhood. Though their marriage ended soon after Eissa was born, Janet Jackson and Wissam Al Mana have stayed true to one important principle: shared custody. They are both committed to making sure Eissa has the love and care of both parents, no matter what. So where does this little one call home? The answer might surprise you. Eissa spends most of his time in London. That's right, the son of an American pop legend and a Qatari billionaire is not growing up under the glare of Hollywood lights or in the bustling streets of Doha. Instead, Janet and Wissam chose a city that offers a balance, a vibrant community that provides privacy and space for a kid to just be a kid. It is definitely a smart move. Janet has made it clear that she wants Eissa to have the kind of childhood she never got. Born into the globally famous Jackson family, Janet knows all too well what it's like to grow up in the public eye. The scrutiny, the pressure, the constant spotlight, it is not something she wants her son to deal with. That's why she has worked so hard to keep Eissa's life as normal as possible. No cameras following him around, no expectations to live up to a legacy. Just a chance to figure out who he is on his own terms. Living in London plays a big role in this. It is a city that blends culture, community, and a certain level of anonymity, which Janet sees as essential for Eissa's well-being. She has been vocal about wanting her son to grow up in an environment where he can explore his interests and build friendships without the pressures of fame. And let's be honest, Hollywood is not exactly known for fostering normal childhoods. So what does life look like for Eissa? For starters, he is part of a dynamic community surrounded by other kids and families who lead relatively private lives. Janet makes sure he has access to activities and hobbies that let him express himself and have fun.
Oh. He was laughing in my lap the whole flight, watching it.
Whether it's playing outside, trying out new hobbies, or simply spending time with friends, Eissa's world is about as far removed from the glamour of his mom's career as you can imagine.
Everyone tells me, for the longest, they've told me, oh, you'd make a great mother. I said, why? You're very nurturing. You're very mothering. You take care of people all the time. And
Janet herself is a hands-on mom. Despite her busy schedule, she always makes time to be with Eissa. Whether it is in London or elsewhere, she prioritizes their bond above everything else. And let's not forget, she has been doing all this while balancing her career as a global superstar. That's no easy task. And what about Wissam? While he keeps a lower profile, he is equally dedicated to Eissa's upbringing. Their co-parenting approach seems to focus on what's best for their son, even if they have different parenting styles. Janet's gives him freedom and creativity, while Wissam's influence likely adds structure and tradition to Eissa's life. Together, they have created a balance that gives Eissa a unique but stable foundation. Janet has said she wants Eissa to grow up happy and emotionally secure. She encourages him to explore his interests, make friends, and build relationships, all while protecting him from the pressures of being a celebrity's child. It is a thoughtful, intentional approach that reflects how much she has learned from her own childhood experiences. And let's not overlook the love and dedication Janet pours into her role as a mom. She is constantly finding ways to be present for Eissa, to guide him, and to give him the best possible start in life. Her commitment to keeping him grounded and happy is a testament to how deeply she cares for her son. So, while Eissa's childhood might be different from most, it is clear Janet and Wissam are doing everything they can to make sure he grows up surrounded by love, security, and plenty of opportunities to be his own person. It is a childhood shaped by two worlds, celebrity and privacy, but balanced in a way that allows Eissa to just enjoy being a kid. Now, as Eissa grows older, the big question is, what are his interests? What does a day in his life look like? Is Eissa the next big star? Eissa Al Mana may only be a little boy, but it is clear he is already growing up in a world filled with music, love, and a touch of Jackson flair. At just 3 years old, Janet Jackson proudly shared that her son was already showing signs of musical talent. So, is he following in his family's legendary footsteps? Let's take a closer look. From the start, it was clear Eissa had a natural connection to music. Janet once shared how he received a tiny drum set as a gift from Questlove, the drummer and co-founder of The Roots. It was a thoughtful and inspiring gift, and Eissa loved it. Janet said he could spend hours banging away, exploring rhythms, and creating his own beats. It is almost as if the music runs in his blood. It is not surprising given his Jackson roots, but it does not stop there. Eissa has shown interest in other instruments too. Take the cello, for example. One day he decided his little violin was not enough and asked his mom to turn it into a cello. Janet, being the doting mom she is, improvised by taping a straw to the violin to make her son's cello dreams come true. That's love and creativity in a single person. Eissa was thrilled, and he even took his cello to school, proudly showing it off to everyone. This early interest in instruments speaks to Eissa's curious and creative nature. First the violin, then the cello, and who knows what's next. Janet encourages this exploration, letting him try out different musical styles and instruments. She is not pushing him toward a career in music, but instead nurturing his natural curiosity and joy for it. And let's talk about his taste in music. Eissa apparently has a soft spot for Bruno Mars. Janet has shared how her son loves to mimic Bruno's moves and performances, turning their home into an impromptu concert stage. Can you imagine the adorable family dance sessions? Music for them is a way to bond. For Janet, this love for music is more than just a hobby. It is a way for her and Eissa to connect. She has said that their musical moments together, whether it is listening, dancing, or playing instruments, are some of their happiest times. It is heartwarming to see how much she values these simple, joyful experiences, especially given her busy life as a global superstar. Janet also makes it clear that she is not forcing any expectations on Eissa. While it might seem tempting to groom him into the next Jackson musical prodigy, Janet is all about letting him find his own path. Her goal is to let him enjoy his childhood without the weight of fame or the pressure to live up to a legacy. It is a refreshing and thoughtful approach, especially coming from someone who grew up under intense public scrutiny. But don't mistake Janet's laid-back parenting style for a lack of involvement. She is deeply committed to giving Eissa the best upbringing possible. From ensuring he has access to music classes and creative outlets to simply being present in his life, Janet is the definition of a hands-on mom. She has even adjusted her career and priorities to focus on motherhood, a role she describes as the most fulfilling and transformative experience of her life. And let's not forget about Wissam. While he and Janet have different parenting styles, they are united in their love for Eissa. Wissam's influence likely brings structure and tradition to their son's life, while Janet's approach adds creativity and freedom. Together, they have managed to strike a balance that allows Eissa to grow into his own person while being surrounded by love and support. Eissa's musical journey is still in its early stages, but it is clear he is being raised in an environment that celebrates creativity, individuality, and connection. Whether he becomes the next big name in music or chooses a completely different path, one thing we know for sure is that Eissa is surrounded by people who want him to thrive, be happy, and live life on his terms. So could Eissa be the next Jackson to make waves in the music world? Tell us what you think in the comments below. If you want to hear more shocking stories like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.